0.5 nanometer in diameter. Likewise, water molecule 0.3. These are some of the examples I just wanted to give you. But I'm not going to talk about these scales and all that in detail. So if I ask you a question, what are the nanomaterials? You would immediately say nanotubes, carbon nanotubes, because that is very famous. It was discovered in 1991 by Ijima, Japanese scientist. Accidentally, it was invented accidentally. Anyhow, he discovered multi-wall nanotubes. Two kinds of carbon nanotubes are there. One is single wall and multi-wall. What is carbon nanotube? When you take a graphene sheet and wrap up to making a roll, it is called carbon nanotube. The diameter is 1 to 2 nanometer. The diameter is in nanoscale. What is the nanoscale? 1 to 100 nanometer. So this diameter is in nanoscale. But look at the length, 0.2 to 5 micrometer. That is beyond the limit. But it doesn't mean to say that this is not a nanoparticle or nanomaterial. Still it is nanomaterial, shows nano properties. And what you see, the left is the multi-wall nanotube. See the wall thickness is 0.36 nanometers. And these are not only, there are plenty of nanomaterials. Carbon nanotubes, carbon buckyballs, titanium nanoparticles, zinc oxide nanorods. There are different silica nanoparticles. Professor Ranjit Dissanayake, do you all remember him? The person who was talking about structural engineering and all that. He is doing research on nanosilica. He is trying to incorporate these nanosilica particles to concrete to strengthen. Right? Something like that. So there are a lot of nanomaterials have been identified now, right, and synthesized. This is just a comparison of single wall nanotube, right? Some of them are really advanced, but I don't want to talk about that. I will show you one or two. Look at the density. So aluminium is generally considered as a low density. It conducts electricity. Aluminium, if you take 1 centimeter cube aluminium, it weighs 2.7 grams, right? If you take 1 centimeter cube carbon nanotube, single wall, it will take 1.33 grams. So look at the difference. The density is very less. At the same time, when you send 1 million amperes through 1 centimeter square area of copper wire, it will burn off. It will burn off. But even if you send 1 billion amperes, the carbon nanotubes will work without any problem. So those are the properties arising when you make materials at nanoscale. This is really interesting, right? So others are not related to use. This is a bit advanced. Therefore, I will not discuss those things. So at this point, nanotechnology is not, what do you call, cheap, right? This is expensive. Though people say nanotechnology has come, there are different products available, we can do wonders, we can do many things. Technology is costly, really expensive, not cheap. This is a famous company for nanotechnology, Ostrons in USA. They produce only 500 grams per day of nanotubes. So sometimes we need 1 kilo, 2 kilo just for an experiment in one institute, in one nation. So how many nations are there? How many countries? How many research institutes? How much we need? So that is not capable of, the institute is not capable of giving that much of product. So what we can do is we can increase the number of machines. So production is a problem. So because we have to apply high conditions. So at this point, making nanomaterials and nanotechnology products are really expensive. But they are available like sunscreens and cosmetic items. Those are just 150 rupees. But in real benefit, when you want to have some real benefits, in medical sense, in engineering, they are expensive. Right? Right. What happened? Okay. What is molecular nanotechnology? Right? Are you all feel sleepy? Okay. What is molecular nanotechnology? Let's imagine an example how molecular nanotechnology happens. Okay? When I was preparing this presentation, something came to my mind. In the sense, I was having peanuts. Okay, I thought of what are the sequences of these peanuts that I am eating. Right? What I have is peanut. Okay? When I put it in my mouth and crush it, I break some of the cell walls, and other than that, I make small particles of peanuts, powder, when I crush. When I swallow, it goes interior and goes to the digestion system where the unbroken cells and broken cells are further divided, further broken into other components, other cell components like carbohydrate and proteins, right? So what is protein? I will explain you in the next slide. What is protein? Is a sequence of amino acids. So further, these amino acids are broken to make amino acids. Why do we need amino acids? Protein synthesis and DNA replication and a lot of biological system working on proteins. We are made up of protein. What you go and buy in the shops is not meat or something, protein and amino acids, right? So this is not something new. You all know what will happen to the peanut, right? But my concern was because of this process. So just imagine at this moment, I'm not a human for a moment, okay? I'm not a human, I'm a device to make nano tools. So this, my hand is just to pick peanut, okay? I have some peanut here. This is a tool, device. What you see is a machine. I take the peanut and put it in my mouth. Okay? Now what I'm telling is, I am a device. I have something inside, something in the sense proteins and everything. Now just imagine reverse of this process. We have a device. When we give some proteins or amino acids, they bring they aggregate. They bring all the amino acids and make it proteins. When you have protein and other components which is necessary to make cell, they bring everything and make a cell. When you have a cell, you collect all the aggregate all the cells and you make it into powders, and what you get out of your mouth is peanut. Right? Will it happen or not? Yes, if we have a device, that is the target of scientists, especially nanotechnologists. That is the key to nanoscience and nanotechnology, of especially molecular nanotechnologies. This is what we got to do. Because most of the systems are working at molecular scale, not in the atomic scale. Atomic scale is very important for computer industry and information technology, but more of the human applications, medical, pharmaceuticals, and many applications are depending on the molecular structure. So I have a device. When we have amino acid source, they bring all the amino acids which is necessary for protein and make a protein. But what you see is the whole structure. You don't see what is happening inside me. So sometimes when I say that nano machines are making nanomolecules or products, they say, okay, if this is nano, we can see. No, you can see me clearly. Right? What is happening interior, you don't see. But we are not worrying about that. What you get out of my mouth is peanut. Right? Okay, this is really nanotechnology's wish, dream, everything. One day we will make a device. It will give you the product, final product. Okay, right. So we have amino acids making proteins and make cell-like structure and bring all the cells, make crush, you get peanut. This is molecular nanotechnology. Right. What is this? Right? This is a protein molecule. So how do we have life? Movements. So if I just stand like this without responding anything, what is the use of it? We need to do some works. You have to study. Right? I have to do some presentation. Something like that. What is life is movement. So how do we get movements? Again, protein. I'm not talking about DNA. Still, I'm talking about protein molecules. Right? For example, what is protein molecule? This is a protein molecule. Right? What are these beads? Amino acids. In two different ways you can have. So how many amino acids we have? Just 20. But how many proteins we have? 80,000, 90,000 proteins are here. How do we get out of these 20 amino acids? In two ways we can have different amino acids. Can anyone tell me? I will give this guy. Boys are not interested. Okay, in two different ways. What are those? When you have how many? It depends on how many amino acids you have. If you have 100 amino acids, it is one protein. If you have 101, that is another protein. That is one way of making proteins. But is another way, If you change any of the sequence of these pairs, you will get another protein. This is how you get hundreds of thousands of proteins. But this is a flexible, one-dimensional proteins. You will learn when you do your advanced level, you are doing advanced level, of course, when you do higher studies, different conformal structures, one-dimensional and primary and secondary, tertiary and quaternary. I'm not going to talk about that. Right? Anyhow, this is a one-dimensional flexible protein molecule. But this is not, I'm not interested in this molecule because this is very flexible, I can't explain you something. Therefore, I'm going to make another protein molecule. You all want to show? What you see here is 5 fittings. These are 5 fittings, just a 5. I'm going to make a protein molecule. What you see in different colors is protein molecule, amino acids, not protein, amino acids. Okay, I have different, this is just 65 angle 5 fitting, this is 90 degree. Okay, what you see here is, I am making a what is this? Not enough. What is this? This is a protein molecule of rigid. Right? Earlier we had a flexible. Now I have converted into rigid. This is how a protein molecule looks. Just imagine. But very important thing is, if you have a molecule, they have charge, polarity. Just imagine these two terminals are negatively charged. What will happen? What is the favorable? Okay, this is a basic science. What will happen if you bring two negative charges? They will repel. So if you have negative charges, what will happen? They will repel. And which is the favorable conformation for this particular molecule? This one or this one? Which is the favorable conformation for this particular protein? This one, because they have, what do they have? Negative charge, so repel each other. This is a basic science, but this is how we get movements. What will happen if you get a signal? Okay, but when you want to feel something, I move my hand, contrast and stretch. So, but what are the muscles made of? Cells. What are the cells made up of? Proteins and other molecules. Major portion is protein. So this is what I'm talking in molecular level, molecular scale, right? Okay, now just imagine this ball as an estrogen, as a hormone, right? This has high positive. You will understand? So a signal could be light or different protein, or it could be anything. But now it comes with high positive. So where does it go? Where does it go? Negative end. So what will happen when this one, just imagine, this is 0.5 coulomb and 5 coulomb negative. This is plus 10 coulomb. What will happen? This go and neutralize the 5 and give extra plus. So what will happen? Conformation changes. This is how molecules work at molecular level. So when the signal goes out, it will go to the other favorable conformation. This is how protein molecules or life, how do we get movements from the molecules? So what we are thinking, that's why I'm not sleeping. I can see some sleepy faces. Okay, not yet. Still not. Okay, yes, wait enough. Right? Right. So what I wanted to show you is how we get movements from the molecule. So okay, just imagine me as a protein molecule. Right? This is R, but I have two terminals. When I get a signal, I go to the other conformation and signal goes to the, again I go back. When I get the signal, I pass, and this is how molecular movements taking place in molecular level. Molecules were in the cell, cells were in your muscles. But this is a very interesting phenomenon that's happening in the molecular level. Right? Okay. I don't want to go beyond that, somewhere advanced. So this is, when you have signal, protein changes its conformation. And when you take the signal out of it, it will go back to the previous stage. Right? Okay. That is enough for the molecule. This is just an introduction. Right? This is, I have already told you, what I'm showing you is advancement of nanotechnology. What are the new things has come to nanotechnology? I'm not sure, I don't want to teach you here. This is not the right place to teach you something. Right? Because this just 45 minutes is not enough to teach you all 45, 50, thousands of history. So what we can do here is we can show you when you do the real masters,